Alright, this is what's in the bag.
Hey everybody, Ben Callaway here, proud member of Team Discraft and Iron Lion, and today we're going to be talking about what's in my bag, 2019 edition. Welcome to my 2019 in the bag. Today we're going to be talking about what's in here, give you some reasons why I throw the discs that I have, and let's just hop into it. First I'm going to start with my putters. My throwing putter that I like for quite a few shots is my Chalenger SS. It is a very straight to slight hyzer finish. It's a very comfortable feel, and I also like to throw this in the Jawbreaker plastic. It's very chalky, feels great in any weather conditions, hot, cold, rainy. So give that up to the Challenger SS. My second one that I like to throw is the newest edition. It's a Luna for Paul Macbeth. It's a little bit more beat in for me, so I like to throw it for a lot more hyzer flip or left to right turnovers and really touchy approaches, just like a little flick of the wrist. It'll go straight for quite a while. So that's my latest addition with the Luna there. And then I don't have too many throwing putters, but of course you gotta have a Z Zone. And for the Z Zone, it's such a wonderful utility disc. I can throw it, with forehand, backhand. I love trusting this little guy in the high wind conditions as well. It's also feels very, very nice for like a flex forehand. And yeah, I mean, if anybody knows anything about Discraft, you know about the Z Zone, and if you don't have one, get one. But that's pretty much it for my throwing putters. I don't really have too many of them. I like to try to keep it simple. So for my putting putters, I keep 3 Jawbreaker Roaches in the bag. They feel wonderful in my hand, very comfortable. They also have quite a bit of glide, and they've really gained my trust from putting outside of that 45-50 feet distance. So it's just a very high consistent flying putter for myself, and these are strictly for putting. I do not throw these whatsoever, and I carry typically about 3 of them. I like to hold 2 of them in my hand, and just in case one were happen to get lost, then I at least have a backup for holding it. So Jawbreaker Roach. Next we're going to get into mid-ranges. I don't have too many molds. Like I said, I like to keep things pretty simple. So we're going to start with my buzzes, and I throw a 2010 Emac Buzzz SS ESP plastic. For me, the Buzzz SS in this year's make, they're pretty fast, a little bit faster than a Buzzz, but they still have a nice stability. This one in particular, it's kind of like a tweener for me. I can throw it from a distance of 300 feet to 360 feet. And it's very straight flying, has a very consistent finish. And it's been in my bag now for probably 4 years. And then this one in particular is just a slightly more understable one. So if I have a left to right hole or a big panning and hyzer shot, that's the one I typically end up throwing. Next is a ESP Swirly Comet. I love throwing this guy in the woods. So many shot shapes with it. It very much holds true to its lines. Typically, I like to throw it for a big panning and hyzer, like something that I really want to like start from point A and just like point B is like way over to the right. I know that if I put it on a certain angle, it'll just hold its line and pan out. It's a wonderful utility disc. Shout out to MJ, ESP Comet. Then lastly is the big brother to the Zone, which is the Buzzz OS. It's a wonderful utility disc in high winds and short little chip shots. For me, it feels very, very similar to the Z Zone. In my hand, it's shallow rim, feels very comfortable. I have no hesitation in wanting to throw this guy in, you know, high winds, especially headwinds for my upshots. I throw it hard and flat, maybe with a little bit of hyzer. I know it's going to come back, so you got to get yourself a Buzzz OS. And next we're going to check out my fairway drivers. I have 3 different molds. First we'll start with the brand new disc this year, the Raptor. This is my Test Flight Z Raptor, which is a highly overstable fairway driver that is slightly shallow rimmed, very comfortable in my hand. It's a wonderful utility disc for that 320 to 360 foot range, like tweener holes for high hyzers or big forehands as well. Love trusting this guy in, you know, high winds as well. It's a wonderful disc. Shout out to Paul Lulabari for that. And yeah, next is another new addition to the year is the Paul Macbeth Onyx. This is a medium stability frisbee that has a ton of glide. For myself, I love throwing this guy hard and flat, and it holds true straight for, you know, upwards to 320 to 350 feet with a very strong hyzer finish. It's highly reliable in so many conditions. I haven't quite beat this one in yet, which I'm really looking forward to when it finally does, because I feel like it's just going to be a nice hyzer flip to flat, straight, and then hyzer finish at the end. I've been working this one into the bag ever since it came out. Been throwing it all over the place. I have nothing really bad to say about it, so get yourself a Paul Macbeth Onyx. And then my last fairway driver is a ESP Vulture. I love the shot shapes I can throw with this disc. This one in particular for me is a pretty flippy one. So I love throwing it with that hyzer flip to flat or just a flat release to right finish. It's very consistent in the woods for me. I also like throwing big turnovers with it as well. It's got a very nice pan out, and I can't say anything. Yeah, it's a great disc. Get yourself an ESP Vulture. Oh, I lied. We have one more. I lied. How could I forget? A big Z Untertaker. Ever since the Undertaker came out, I fell in love with this disc. It is, without a doubt, my most tried and true fairway driver to throw in the woods. 100%. It's so consistent with its slight stability. It's definitely has a little bit slower flight than the Vulture, but it's a wonderful disc between that 300 to 340 range. You know, if you just want to have something to flip to flat and just hold straight the entire way, like especially with a low ceiling, the Undertaker is definitely the disc of choice. It's a wonderful one. I recommend it. Now we're going to get into my distance drivers. We're going to start with my Punishers. This is like the very first one that I got from Discraft. It's been in my bag ever since. The thing I love most about the Punisher is it has a strong stability, but it has so much glide. And I love that about it because I can throw it very, very hard, and it has a wonderful S curve to it, but it still has a finish as well. And ever since it has come out, I mean, I can't say it essentially replaced my Force as my, you know, my #1 driver, but I mean, it's very close. You know, they're pretty much neck and neck. But I do love the Z Punisher, and it's so very consistent. I highly recommend it, and yeah, go get yourself one. I have 2 of them in the bag. This is my ESP one. It's very much more understable. I like to throw this for, you know, like hyzer flip flicks or rollers as well. And that's pretty much what this guy's mainly for. Maybe throw it in a big tailwind because it's so understable. But yeah, Punishers. Check them out. Next we're gonna check out, yeah, we'll check out my forces now. I have two of them. The first one is my 2019 Tour Series, Z Glow Force. Similar to the Punisher, but it has a lot more hyzer finish. This one in particular has a lot of glide, but I like it more so for throwing in heavier winds because it has such more of a stability finish. But they do fly very true, and I do love them very much. You might want to, get yourselves one because they're also a beautiful frisbee. So, Z Glow Forces. And then this one is just my overstable force. If it's a big headwind and I just need to throw something that I know is going to come back, that's what this guy is for. Just throw it very hard, very flat, and it'll slightly turn, but then I know it's always going to come back to me on that hyzer finish. So that's basically what this guy is my safety blanket, if you will. So, Z Forces. And then last but not least, we are going to get into my ESP Nukes. Typically, these are strictly my forehand friendly frisbees. They're very beat in, and I don't have to throw a lot into it for it to go very far, which is what I love. I don't have the strongest flick, so it's definitely wonderful for that. It's also, I mean, if I want to have some fun throwing like a big turnover shot, strictly for distance, I will definitely throw my ESP Nukes. So be on the lookout for those. Typically, I like to have two in the bag. This guy is pretty much for the same purposes. It's just a little bit flatter, so just a nice flat flick shot. Gotta love the ESP Nuke for that. And that's it for my 2019 What's in the Bag. And then also I'd like to thank my sponsors, Discraft, Iron Lion, for providing me with all the support in the world. Give a huge shout out to them. Also would like to give a shout out to Patrick Page for reaching out to me to film this. So check out his YouTube page, Patrick Page Disc Golf. Thanks again for tuning in.